Hey folks, welcome to Bear Mountain. We're getting ready to put our spring veggies in. This is April 2nd today, and we kind of had to clean up our winter mess. We'll show you a little bit of clip on that. We kind of let things in the pathways get a little bit out of hand. We did compost the beds, but we definitely had a weed problem in the pathway, and we're still getting rid of the rest of it. But now we're at a point where we're gonna need to start deciding where we're gonna put in our first things that we're gonna be planting, which are snow peas, shallots, a couple of different types of lettuces, and we already put our regular bulbing onions in, and we've got our first round of potatoes. So we've got a few different beds, and we got to kind of figure what would be the best in terms of sunlight and shade and stuff like that. And probably what we're looking at is we've got enough potatoes to do a fairly long bed and enough sweet or snow peas to do a fairly long bed. And so we'll probably try to figure out maybe sticking the onions, because we have bunching onions as well as our salad. So we'll kind of put those guys together. And then the last thing we're going to look at is, okay, where are we going to put, like, we got some extra sweet peas for blooming, and we're going to figure out how to put those in and then get some color out here in the garden.
Okay, so the first thing that we need to put in is snow peas, not the sweet peas, but the snow peas.
Yeah, so we're going to eat those in the pods, right?
Right. And so we're also shifting beds so that the same things weren't growing in the same spot. So
right.
When we look over there and we see some really, can you point to the spinach?
Yeah, those were some overwintered spinach, and they did not do well at all.
They're not good. So those are going to be removed.
Yep.
And they had, before the spinach for overwinter, there were potatoes there.
Right. So we don't want to put potatoes there.
So we don't want potatoes there. So I was thinking that would be a good spot for the snow peas.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Then we could put hoops on it because we're going to have to protect them. But this variety of snow pea we're raising is not a climber.
No.
So it's more of a bush type.
Right.
And so we don't have to worry about,
But the deer came in last year and nibbled on them a lot.
So we'll definitely have to put a net over the top of those guys.
So I was thinking that then the potatoes that were over there would shift to right here.
Yeah, because we had beans here.
Right.
Was the last rotation through here. And so, yeah, we could put the first round. We only have enough maybe to plant the first half of the bed, but then we got more potatoes coming this week. So.
And any others that I may have gotten,
right.
Can't tell because of back orders and whether I'm going to get
well,
them or
basically
not.
What we're putting in now, these are going to be the early potatoes.
Right.
So they're like red Norlands.
We also have one that's coming that's a Burbank, which will be our storage one.
Right, that's a russet.
So
yeah.
I think you said we were going to take those down below.
Yeah, we're going to have to put those in a someplace different. And then I'm thinking the lettuce, we've got some beet greens.
So that was what I was thinking.
Over
that
back here.
We've got back here, and we can get a close up, that we could use all three of those beds for various types of lettuces, small kales, if we can get those going. And
actually, I got a couple of volunteer Red Russians back there. So I was going to transplant those guys.
Things like the hackeri, turnips, and carrots.
So that'll all be
radishes.
perfect over there because it'll get afternoon shade. So when we get into the warmer time of May, they'll be a little more protected.
So I thought those three in the back by the asparagus would be really good for those kind of what I want to call our salads.
Okay.
And so then the one that's right there,
which is the long bed in front,
right
in front of you.
We had broccoli and
kale in there.
And the one that's right here.
This also had kale, but it also had chicories in it.
And cucumbers.
Well, yeah, and then it was followed by a rotation of cucumbers,
So I thought that we could switch those beds.
Oh, okay.
Just do a rotation switch.
Okay.
And then where we had behind you, we had in the triangle back there in the back, we had sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that we could go there with peppers.
Okay.
And the one behind me,
Right.
this little short one behind the tulips, would be our zucchini.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes good sense.
Because we grow,
We don't need that many.
and we grow bush zucchini.
Right. So that'll work good there. And then we'll, okay.
So then everything else is sort of
And then when we finish the parsnips out,
yeah.
then we could put peppers over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One or the other.
Right.
And then the rest of them, they'll have things like lots of garlic on them. We can do things like eggplant.
Right. Yeah, that'll work. Yeah, the elephant garlic's all volunteer, so
we just let go.
we let it go. So why plant it, you know? Seems to do pretty well on its own. Okay, so the first step is let's get our...
we're in agreement on
Yep.
on the placement and good rotation, don't you think?
Right.
The only thing that I'm going to ask is the tomatoes have to grow in the same place as the tomatoes.
Right, because we have our trellising there.
Is that going to be a problem?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, we do
No,
a
not really.
good job of
As long as we amend the soil
amending the soil and stuff.
Yeah.
Throw some calcium in.
Well, that, and I just think, you know, the JNF or, you know, JDAM, KNF solutions, that'll do it well.
Take care of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll use a lot of the microorganism solution to give it a good soak previously ahead of time, and then I think that we have a tomato-based liquid fertilizer
Right.
that we made from tomatoes last year, so we'll use that to help fertilize them, so they should be, you know, pretty good nutrient balance. Plus, if we need to, we can always use water-soluble calcium phosphate to kind of help if we see any issues with blossom end rot. We don't usually get blight here because we don't really get wet summers, in a sense. So that would be, I don't think we're gonna have too many problems.
But I don't like the blossom end rot.
Well, no.
I call it something else.
Yeah.
I call it OBD, Oregon butt disease.
Yeah. Well, it's unsightly. I mean, you can still sometimes use the tomato if you cut it off.
But it's really unsightly.
It's pretty unsightly. So, but that we should be able to avoid that.
Okay. So the first bed we're going to be working on.
I think we're going to try our snow pea bed first.
Right.
So we got to get that cleared off, and we might need to just gently kind of crack the soil with a spading fork, but we'll see. We may not have to. As time goes on, I think that'll be less and less necessary. These guys were all pretty much, we had a compost layer put on. We did that back in December. So it's pretty well rotted. So the only thing I'm hoping that we need to do is just kind of, you know, clean off the vegetation and then just kind of rake it. And then we should be able to wet it down. We're going to wet it down real good, and then we'll plant. The other thing that we're going to do is, and we'll show you how we do it, we're going to collect some leaf mold from underneath our older filbert trees. Those guys have been there for like 20 plus years. So we've got some nice leaf mold soil in there, and we use that as kind of an inoculant for the transplants to, you know, pick up some good biology when we stick them in the ground. So that will be the first step before we stick them in. And then after that, we'll also show you using the dibble stick. That's how we're going to plant these guys. So I think we should just get to it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this is, we're below our filbert trees. It's just kind of a hedge, and it's been here for 20 years. And what I'm going to be doing is collecting decomposed leaf mold and nuts and things of that nature. And we're going to use this as an inoculant in our for our veggies. And there's a lot of biology in these guys, so I don't need a whole bunch, probably just a few handfuls, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this material and put it in a tray and let it just kind of become an extract, and use the plants, let them soak the material up. So it's got a nice earthy smell to it. It smells great. So let's go back to the garden. Okay, this material is no scientific, exact measurement to put in, but basically I'm going to be using this over several trays of stuff we're going to transplant. So I'm going to put about half of it in, and you can see, it's got some undigested wood chunks and branches and maybe a rock or two. You don't need that, but it's a lot of biology in this, and the point on what we're trying to do is get some of that biology on the roots of these veg that we're putting in. The fungal stuff maybe helps a little bit, but not terribly much, but there's a good selection of indigenous bacterias and actinomycetes and stuff like that in this. So this is kind of just another little bit to kind of help the plant itself, get established, and maybe not so much transplant shock and all kinds of good things like that. So we're going to fill this tub up about halfway, and then we'll set the...
And it's free.
And it's free. It's free, folks. Remember, we didn't pay anything for this. We're not charging for this tip either. Okay, now while I'm dibbling my holes, I've got approximately 35 plants in here, 36 plants. And what I'm going to do is let this guy just soak in here for a while. And I can see that since I'm on a slope, this might be an issue. There, that's a little better. We could probably even put a little more water in here to get in. What we're doing is we're bottom soaking this mostly. That's good enough. You only need to do this for maybe 3 to 5 minutes, but probably 3 minutes is long enough, and then take it out. So as soon as it's like, really, really good and soaked, then you can take it out. The other thing, pre-soaking your seedlings like this, especially if you're using a plastic tray like 6-packs, it makes the plant slip out real easy. So that is a plus too. So instead of having, fiddle around and try to get it out, you probably use about half the effort that you would normally if it was drier. So it won't be as sticky in the actual plastic tray itself. So while that's soaking, I'm going to put in 3 rows of 12 rows of 3, not 3 rows of 12. Well, maybe it is that, but we're going to put in, enough in here where we're going to put in 35 plants, and these guys are going to spread out, be pretty bushy. So that'll probably, this is like a 9-foot bed, I think, something like that. So we're going to be putting these plants, it looks like maybe about, we'll have 12 in each one. So thereabouts, about a foot apart, less than a foot, probably 9 inch. And again, not exact. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it. Using the dibbler, what I'm going to use as a guide is my drip line. So all I need to do is kind of go in. And if you notice that when I'm using it, what I'm doing is I'm going around. What that does is that makes the tip of the hole wider, and makes the plug to go in easier. 2, 3, 4. And then I'll try to hit the middle and the outside. So each of these guys will have a drip line by where the line of the plant is. Oops, I got something going in there. I shouldn't have done that.
But it slipped too easy.
Yeah, like maybe there might be some kind of tunnel in there or something.
Boo, boo.
Hopefully not. Hopefully it was just an air pocket. Okay, these guys have been soaking for probably about 3 or 4 minutes, so they should be good. We can just take it out and let them drain a little bit. And we should be, yeah, they look really pretty soaked. And as you can see underneath, there's a little bit of roots starting to come out. So these guys are really at the perfect stage. So we'll just, and you can see it slips right out. You can see the roots, they look pretty good. So all we got to do, I just kind of massage this a little bit, let the root kind of hang loose, then put it in, and now plant. Now you can see that the dibble hole was deep enough that the plant is well seated in there. So that's kind of the objective.
Guess it didn't get great germination. There was only 2.
Yeah, this 6-pack didn't do too well. And that's another reason why, like, you know, again, nothing's 100%, you know, but the ones that did germinate, they look pretty good. These guys were seeded on the 12th of March. So they did pretty good.
They're from saved seeds.
This was from saved seed, yeah.
And what we discovered in the jar was that the seed was being eaten.
Yeah, somehow we
bug.
trapped something in there we shouldn't have.
So some of the seeds had holes in them.
Yep.
Which meant all the goodies, I guess, from the
Well,
inside.
they were eaten from the inside out. Yeah.
Yeah,
well, we tried not to plant any of those guys.
Once I figured out that was what was happening, I tried to get all of those bug ones out, but
Right.
I don't think I seeded any because I didn't see it right off the bat.
Well, we got enough. I mean,
yeah, there's only
so we
2 of us.
we overplanted. So
And
the objective was just to fill a bed.
we like to eat these fresh.
Yep.
Not so much, you know,
Well, they're not
preserved.
Yeah, they're not a canning pea or a freezing pea. Well, I mean, I suppose you can freeze the pods.
I guess you could, but we like them fresh.
Yeah.
But we do need to come up with something else besides beans. We can't wear beans.
Yeah, we're gonna go to dried beans.
Oh yeah, we still have to do those too.
Yep. Well, those will be down in the tunnel. One of our tunnels. So you can see how easy they slip out. It's not a problem. Don't really have to work them.
So are you excited with the nice day and putting getting your hands in the dirt with veggies, not flowers?
Yeah, something to eat.
Yeah.
We definitely gonna have to protect these guys though. We've got to watch out for slugs too, because that can always happen.
Yeah, it's just nice to see that we're gonna have them again. They're so tasty.
And the other thing about this no-till bed, if you notice it, we didn't need to fork it or anything of that nature. It was just basically clean off and then rake it and then wet it down. And the reason we wet it down is when we put the plants in, we want to keep the moisture level, you know, as close to the root zone that we're putting in good shape.
And you cut the spinach things off. You didn't pull them out.
Tried not to pull them out. I might have pulled one or two of them, but yeah, most of them we just cut off and left the root system in the ground.
So leave all the nutrients sit back in the ground.
Right. All right, we're moving along. Okay, we got them all in. And the neat thing about this variety is Avalanche is the name of it. I think if you're buying the seed, you could get it from Johnny's. And this is a nice pea that gets, when planted now, will be ready for eating in, say, June or so. So it kind of works out pretty well. Seems to be pretty resistant to diseases. We didn't really have any problems with any kind of disease on these guys last year. And the neat thing about this is from our own saved seed. So we were able to get a really good, enough for us. Okay, we were able to get, enough to give us a good bed, even though we had, some fails on the germination thing. And I think that was we didn't realize some of the seed was damaged when we planted it. And, upon inspection, if we had planted all good seed, we probably would have got much better germination. But we got more than enough. So last step is we just water it in and it's done, other than the protection to put a net over the top. So we'll put some hoops on it and put some bird net over the top. These guys shouldn't need any fleece or anything like that for temperature, and they should be good. So just water them in and then we'll move on to the next thing. Okay, the bed prep on this one was actually pretty easy. This one had beans on it in the last rotation last fall, and this was our actual last crop. And what we did is we pulled the drip lines out, and I just took a shovel and chopped the bean plants up, and then I threw down some biochar I had, and then put on a pretty heavy compost, about almost an inch of urban waste compost over the top. Let the winter rains just kind of work on it, and there's still a few bean stems left, but their ground looks like it's in really good shape. And so that was a easy job. I mean, we had no weeds on it, and we just raked it off and got it going. So I've got lettuce over here that I need to soak. You can see we got like 4 different types. 3 of the types did really well. Actually, I think we got a 5th type in here too, don't we? Nope, both winter density. Okay, so we got winter density here on this one. And this one here is a butterhead called Continuity. Looks really good. Skyphos has been kind of a performer for us, but for some reason we've got really poor germination off these guys, and actually the growth that did happen didn't really thrive as much. I'm not certain why. And then our last variety here it's a romaine type. It's called Monte Carlo. So we're gonna basically fill this bed with all these lettuce starts. Gonna give them the same soak I did for the snow peas. And so we're gonna have roughly 45 plants in here of lettuce.
We like lettuce,
yeah,
but that's a lot.
That's gonna be a lot of lettuce.
And we do, like Charles Dowding does, we pick leaves.
Yeah, these guys are all the type that you can keep picking the lower leaves on it around. So if you stays above the ground, which as you pick those lower leaves do, you don't tend to get as much slug damage and stuff like that. Plus, you can pick on the same plant for weeks. Usually we've gone as long as 6 weeks, but I'd say the average is more like about, you can continue just keep picking the leaves around it for about 4 weeks. Pretty good. So these guys will probably start producing for us in about 3 weeks. Some of them are a little faster than others. And so we anticipate that we'll be picking off this planting of lettuce probably until early June, I would think.
Kind of like the colors.
Yeah.
That'll make a pretty salad too.
Yep. And we also have spinach too. So we're just gonna really...
And turnips.
And turnips, Hakurei turnips, love those.
Love those.
Okay, so I'll get them laid out and we'll get them in the same way we did the other bed. Okay, we got them all in. Matter of fact, I think we probably overplanted. There's just the two of us, but I couldn't help. You know, they all look so good. So we ended up putting in, probably 40 something lettuce plants here. So I think we're gonna have more than enough lettuce for the next 6 weeks. Anyway, the nice thing about, giving the pre-soak on this thing is it really reduces transplant shock. I had to rip some of these guys apart because I didn't realize that some of the cells I had multiple seedlings in it until...
I didn't prick them out, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we didn't get to that. So, I mean, they kind of grew together a little bit, but they didn't, especially the red guys right here, they didn't wilt too bad at all. So on the winter density, it was kind of the same situation. So they came through really well. Slowed the process down a little bit, but you can see, there's no real transplant shock at this point. Lettuce wilts like that, so that's pretty good.
So I guess we just got to figure out how to eat all of it.
Yeah.
Can we dry it?
Yeah, let's dehydrate the lettuce. I'm thinking canning.
Canning lettuce?
Do you pressure can or water bath?
I'm not sure. I think we're crazy.
Yeah. So anyway, there's more to go, but we thought we'd end it here because the day's getting a little long, and but we still got spinach to put in, potatoes to put in, onions, shallots. So more to go.
Turnips. We got lots of stuff to put in, so I guess we'll just have to you'll just have to check back with us.
Yep, we'll do that one on another day. So thanks folks for joining us today. Just kind of wanted to show you a couple of tips on the no-dig garden beds and how easy it is to plant things. And well, we're gonna have a lot of lettuce.
It's gonna be great. The garden makes us so happy.
Yep.
So it's a nice spring day and we're into the garden.
Right.
Yay!
So you folks have a great day. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you the next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, and stay safe.
Oh, yeah. Stay safe. Bye-bye.